Yo, welcome back to What's the Word podcast with Shy Boy Jimmy and Jay. This your boy Shy Boy Jimmy,
Yo, this is Jay.
and we got a few topics for y'all today. But first thing first, we want to say we in 2024 and we standing on business all year, y'all.
You blessed.
Yeah, we blessed and we made it to another year. And like I said, we standing on business. And standing on business is one thing we're gonna do is promote these black businesses in the city of Chicago, man.
We got a guest with us today too.
Yeah, so our first guest, we got what's it called, the segment. The segment's gonna be black businesses in Chicago.
Yeah.
Black raw businesses in Chicago, or black people making moves in Chicago. We ain't thinking of the title yet, but we gonna be promoting black businesses in Chicago. So if y'all got a black business for sure, DM us, hit us up, whatever, and let us know. We'll support y'all, whatever. Y'all listen to our podcast every day, so we can't do nothing but support y'all. So much love with that. So the first person, the first black beautiful queen, the black woman that's coming to support us on our show, and we're gonna give her love about her business, is Tiesha D. Baldwin. So for y'all that don't know, Tiesha Baldwin is the owner of the Baldwin Tax Group, a Chicago-based tax debt resolution firm. She began her career as a tax professional in 2004. She's an enrolled agent in the National Association of Enrolled Agents National Tax Practice Institute. She enjoys working with individuals, businesses, and non-for-profit organizations to prepare their tax returns. So without further ado, I want to introduce y'all to Miss Tiesha D. Baldwin of the Baldwin Tax Group. Yeah. What's up?
Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
Yeah, y'all don't know, that's my auntie. Yeah.
Thank y'all for having me.
No problem at all.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, like you said, I am the owner of the Baldwin Tax Group, and I do more than just tax preparation. I do tax debt resolution for individuals and businesses in all 50 states.
All 50 states. Y'all heard that, right?
States.
Okay. So what brought you down this road? How did you get into the tax business?
So, back in, I want to say 1997, 98, I had a bad experience with a tax professional who's supposed to be a tax professional preparing my tax returns, and I ended up on the IRS, and I didn't know how to fix it. And so I started doing taxes professionally in 2004. I read a lot, studied a lot, figured out how to start my own tax prep business, but I was doing it part-time while I was working a 9 to 5. And so that's how I got started. But I started in tax debt resolution in 2016. But I was only able to represent people whose tax returns that I had actually prepared. So in order to help others who tax returns I did not prepare, I needed to become an enrolled agent. So I started that process in 2016 and finalized it in 2019.
So an enrolled agent, like what exactly is an enrolled agent for like the people that don't know?
So yes, a lot of people don't know what an enrolled agent is. So basically what I do is I negotiate with the IRS in certain states to help people get their tax debt either significantly reduced or eliminated so that they don't have to pay whatever the IRS is saying they have to pay.
Okay.
That's decent.
And I heard you said you were a tax debt resolution.
Mm-hmm.
So what would that consist of? Like, what would put you in that situation where they would need to call you?
Okay. So there are quite a few situations. The main reason why people end up on the IRS is because they do not have enough taxes taken out of their paychecks. Or if you're a business owner, you are not paying your estimated quarterly taxes like you're supposed to. And so you end up on the IRS, and then the IRS adds penalties and interest. So sometimes your debt can be doubled because of the penalties and interest. And so you would need to hire somebody like me, an enrolled agent or possibly an attorney. Some CPAs do tax debt resolution, but enrolled agents are considered America's tax experts because we study tax law. And so you would have to hire somebody like me to help you negotiate with either the IRS or your state agency to help you get that tax debt off your back.
Okay. Just random, where you talk about the debt and like the consequences, probably off topic, like, but what would like constitute somebody to like be arrested? Like, I think that's something everybody always wants to know. Like, is it like just the time frame of
what makes
owing?
you go to jail for?
It's like the time frame of owing, or is like the amount, or is it a combination of everything?
It's a combination of everything. And so there's a difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion. So if the IRS determines that you are evading paying your taxes, that can lead you down the road of getting arrested and actually spending time in jail. and high fines, millions and millions of dollars in fines that you have to pay back. Now, tax avoidance is something that's a little different because
Pay attention now.
yeah, there's a difference between avoidance and evasion. Tax avoidance, a lot of people don't like to, especially in the tax realm, don't like to use that word because it's so close to evasion. But there are certain things that you can do to help significantly reduce your tax debt if you're a business owner or even if you are a high income earner. We could put together a tax plan for you so you could determine what steps you need to take so that you don't have to pay as much in taxes and avoid being arrested.
Yeah. Or avoid being. Y'all heard that she said that she got this bill to actually help y'all file your taxes and not pay that much. So y'all need to work with her.
So, oh my bad. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying. So, since you are an expert in it, what separates you from like, I guess, commercial
Like TurboTax.
service? Yeah, TurboTax.
Like TurboTax.
H&R Block.
So the difference is, and shout out to all my H&R Block TurboTax tax preparers, but what makes the difference between me and a regular tax preparer is number one, my education, and number two, my experience. And the reason why I say that is because if you have tax issues, certain preparers can't help you because they can't call the IRS on your behalf. They can't call a state agency on your behalf. They can't negotiate to help you with whatever issue that you're having. And one thing that I would like to point out to your listening audience is that be careful who you hire to do your taxes because a lot of my clients, my resolution clients, owe the IRS because they went to somebody and paid somebody to do their taxes, and on their tax return it says self-prepared. And technically that's illegal. So if you go to somebody and you pay them $400 to do your tax return, on the signature line of your tax return, it should have their information, their name, the name of the company, their PTN number, EIN number if necessary. Do not pay somebody to do your tax returns and they are filing your returns on Free File USA.
Yeah.
Or you pay them to do your tax returns and they file them on TurboTax. Because what's happening is they get TurboTax, the desktop version. If anything ever happened, how are you going to retrieve your returns?
Yeah. It's like you got to go through that person.
You got to go through that person.
But then it's going to say self-prepared. And it's like they're going to be looking like, why are you reaching out to this person?
Exactly. And it makes the resolution process a lot harder when I'm going before the IRS saying, hey, look, this person has this debt. And they look and say, well, it was self-prepared. So they signed their return. It looks like they prepared the return themselves when in actuality they paid someone to do it for them. But that person can't properly represent them.
Okay.
So how would you be able to tell somebody who's legit and who's not, besides just
ask
the obvious?
questions.
You got to ask questions.
You got to ask questions. You got to ask them,
Research.
What type of designation do you have? If someone is saying that I'm licensed, you hear that word, licensed, there's no such a thing. You have a designation, but the IRS doesn't give you a license to prepare tax returns. So if somebody is using that word to describe their skills, then red flag.
Oh, that's real. Because I've seen a lot of people on Facebook like, hey, come to me for your taxes. Come to me for your taxes.
Because I'm licensed.
Yeah.
No,
like,
so the only
know,
thing
like,
that other than an enrolled agent, if a paid tax preparer participates in the annual filing season program, the IRS does have a program for non-credentialed preparers where you take the class and you do get listed in the IRS database as someone who has, I should say, enough knowledge to be able to prepare an accurate tax return. But that still does not give them a quote-unquote license. That's just a certificate, not a license. So Circular 230 makes that plain. The IRS does not give you a license to prepare tax returns.
So pay attention to terminology.
You make it a certificate, and you definitely pay attention to the terminology. Ask them. Don't be afraid to ask, like, what type of education do you have? Did you take any classes? How do you keep up with current tax law?
Yeah.
You know, ask those types of questions. And if they can't give you a simple answer or something that you as a taxpayer can understand, then you might want to find somebody else.
Yeah, it's like, I don't understand because, like, one question is like the $600 thing that they brought up. Like, if somebody zero you $600, like, with your business or something. So, like, one question is like, what is taxable income and what is money I can just keep in my pocket? Like at what point do I have to file taxes for it? Because, you say, like I say, like the Facebook tax preparers, they like, oh, you better put that, or you got, what's it called when you can get money back, you claim it on your taxes, like school supplies and stuff?
Oh yes, so
Take
there
off.
that now there is a credit.
Oh yeah, the credits.
Yeah, so there's a difference between credits and deductions, but that'll have to be for another podcast because that's a
it's
lot.
a lot. Okay.
That's a lot. But there's a difference between a credit and a deduction. And so if you're a teacher, you can get up to a $250 deduction
Okay, yeah.
on your tax return, but you have to be a teacher. So if the IRS ever comes back and audits your return and say, hey, you have this deduction or this credit or whatever on your return, do you have receipts? And it's only for $250.
Yeah.
So if you spend $500 on your classroom, you only can get that $250.
$250.
Right.
So like, what is an actual audit? Because like you said audit, and that sounds like a tax term, but I know what an audit is. But like professionally definition is like what?
So it's nothing more than the IRS just asking a bunch of questions about the information you put on your tax return.
Yeah.
And as long as you have proper receipts, then you're fine. But if you, like a client that I'm working with today, she filed her tax return, and the person that filed her return put self-prepared on her return, but she also added some things on her return that the my client didn't ask for. She added a dependent that she technically did not have, and then she added a business with a bunch of deductions that she did not have. She didn't have that. And so when it came time for her to talk to the IRS about the amount of money that she's going to owe, because she doesn't have proof of any of that. She doesn't have proof of the dependent. She doesn't have proof of the business. And her only saving grace was the fact that there's an email exchange between her and the preparer that she's telling her, like, I didn't tell you to put this on there. And the lady was like, okay, well, I'll amend the return for you. No, that's like illegal. Don't do that.
Yeah. So
that's all a part of an audit. It's just the IRS asking a bunch of questions.
Okay. Yeah. That's decent. Like that's thank you for breaking it down, because like I've seen audits in the past, and it's like it'd be crazy. Like they say like the police or like FBI, like whoever, they be calling them.
So that's the part of the evasion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So like when you see your celebrities are going to jail for stuff like
taxes.
Yeah.
Evasion. Okay.
Evasion, not avoidance.
Not
evasion.
avoidance. Okay, so like, do every state, you said 50 states, so like we all gotta pay personal income tax, or like what?
So when I say I can represent people in all 50 states, that's the IRS.
Okay.
Now there are some states like Texas, Florida, you don't pay for my W-2 earners. You don't pay state taxes, state income tax.
Yeah.
So Illinois, Michigan, Ohio, California, states like that, where you have income tax that's supposed to come out of your paycheck, I'm representing quite a few taxpayers that didn't pay income tax for the state or federal, and now they owe.
Yeah, so like I'm in Illinois now, you know what I'm saying? I'm in the best city of the world, Chicago.
Shout out Chicago.
But no, like, okay, so I work here now. So like if I was to move to one of those states, so like would I don't know what my question. Would I have to pay the state in like, you know what I'm saying?
No. So you pay in the state
that you work.
earn. Right.
So okay, but okay.
So like take Texas for instance.
So if I was working,
if you move to
in Texas and get a job,
and you get a job, Texas does not have state income tax.
Okay. So but the Chicago,
Illinois does.
Still, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And to all of your Illinois listeners, if you owe the state of Illinois, the Illinois Department of Revenue, they have 26 years to collect.
26 years to collect what?
Back taxes.
So they can go back to 26 years?
26 years. Their statute is longer than the IRS. The IRS only has 10 years to collect. The state of Illinois has 26 years.
Because you know when when all that stuff happened with my Jeep, so then like since that first day everything happened with my Jeep to like 2022 last year, I wasn't getting no state taxes back. So then it's like I'm like, wow, like, because and I went to talk to whatever her name is, I forgot her name is, Alexis Jeanette. That's the governor.
That's
the comptroller. I went and had a meeting with her and stuff. So then when I was her with
I
her,
believe her name Maria. Something. Yeah.
With the people or whatever. I talked to the girl. I talked to the lady. So and it's like because I had owed so much in tickets, and it's like I'm like that's crazy.
That's different. So if you owe in tickets, student loans, toll violations, they will offset your state refund. They could offset your federal refund.
But that's tickets that do that?
Yeah.
Oh yes, for sure. The state of Illinois, yes, they do. That's different than owing income tax. That's a totally separate thing in the state of Illinois. And another thing in Illinois
Oh wait,
is
the governor is not Alexis Janelius.
Mm-mm.
That's Pritzker is the governor.
Pritzker's the governor.
And Alexis, he's the Secretary of State.
Secretary of State.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what it is.
All right, but yeah, that's something totally different, and you can get your refund offset because of that.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's like that's true. Just like truly crazy. If I don't got the money to pay the ticket, how you think
They're taking out the money.
they crazy?
Yeah, so they
And then
so when
student
you
loans.
file
If I
the-
had the money to pay for school, why would I get a student loan?
Well, see, the thing with student loans, if you do a forbearance
Yeah.
ahead of time and enough time to avoid it being offset, then you're fine. They won't take your refund. But if you wait until the last minute to get a forbearance, the state of Illinois can take your refund, offset your refund, as well as the IRS. If you do a refund from the IRS, then the state, your student loans can be offset. Your refund can be offset because you owe student loans, child support, parking tickets, anything like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is, but
What would be the most difficult part about your job, or is it the people? Is it something like a story you got, like a bad situation?
a story.
You guys, so you've been doing this since what 2004?
Yeah,
since
I've been
1990. So
I've been a tax preparer, professional tax preparer since 2004. So I have plenty of horror stories. But as far as a resolution, every story just about is a horror story. Every story, and they're all different stories. They all owe for different reasons, and all of their cases are different. I have to figure out what services I could provide to them, and no two clients are the same.
Right.
So it's both. It's getting tax preparers to understand the importance of compliance, being compliant, file your tax returns on time, pay your estimated taxes on time if you have a business. But then it's also crazy because the tax laws change all the time. So 1 minute it's okay to do what they call a tiered installment agreement if you owe $25,000 or more, and then I call tomorrow for another client and say, oh, we can't do that. Well, you just did it yesterday for the client. Yesterday, like, get y'all story straight, Mr. IRS man. And then I call back, I wait a week and call back, and then I can get it done because that person said that wasn't a thing. There was a memo that they passed around that might be a change. So whoever I talked to the first time took it literally. Came up with their own thing. So sometimes it's kind of frustrating dealing with the IRS, trying to help people out because laws change all the time. And sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't. Plus, the IRS just hired 80,000 people. And can you imagine trying to train 80,000 people?
no.
And get 80,000 new people on the same page with the same training at the same time?
I ain't know they hiring. I can put my application in.
That
How much they
is-
pay?
Go
Well,
ahead, get my application in.
IRS.gov, I believe it is, or
Yeah.
USAjobs.gov. If you're looking to get a job with the IRS.
Okay, so when you was talking about somebody amending somebody's taxes earlier or whatever.
Yeah.
So then it's like, what's the difference between amending and extension?
Okay, so an amended return is when you file your return and it's accepted, it's processed. You find an error and you need to go back and fix that error. So you need to amend the return. But an extension is when you have not filed your return. Say, for instance, your individual return is due by April 15th.
Yeah.
You're not ready. And so you request an extension of time to file, but then you also have to remember you need an extension of time to pay too. So just because you got an extension of time to file, which will give you an extension until October 15th, that does not mean if you owe the IRS that you have until October the 15th to pay. So you need to do both. If
So
you know you're
gotta
going to
do
owe
it's two different extensions.
two different extensions.
Okay.
If you know you owe ahead of time, you need to do an extension of time to file and extension of time to pay.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Cause then, like, if I ain't got it now, what makes you think I'm gonna have it tomorrow?
Exactly. And then the IRS charges interest by the day. So if you
By the
don't
day.
By the
Day.
day.
daily, every day.
If I ain't got the money, if I ain't got $10 today, what makes you think I'm gonna have 50 tomorrow?
Well,
Like,
that's
what
the
is-
reason why you need to file an extension of
Okay.
time to pay to avoid the penalty, because there are penalties attached to non-payment and non-filing,
Okay.
and you can be charged a penalty for each at the same time. So you can have a failure to file and a failure to pay,
So what?
and that has interest attached to each one of those.
So it's two different interests and two different checks you gotta cut to pay them. Okay, so like if I just flat out say I'm not filing paying taxes no more, like what would happen? I go to jail.
Jail.
I feel like if we all just stood up and said, like, come on, if the whole country came together and said, bro, you know what I'm saying?
And that's the reason why you need to hire a professional to help you with a proper tax plan.
Yeah.
To help you navigate what you should pay, what you shouldn't pay. You need to work with somebody, especially if you're a high income earner.
Yeah.
You need to work with somebody that can help you navigate that, because just being non-compliant and not paying, that'll cause you so many problems in it'll negatively affect every other area in your finances, not just your taxes.
For sure.
So what's something about the trade that the average person wouldn't know? I think you was telling us about it a little bit earlier.
About
your job, like something that
training to become an enrolled agent?
No. Oh yeah, that.
Okay. So there's what they call a SEE test that you have to take, and it's 3 parts. The first part is individual, second part is business, third part is representation. Each test is 100 questions per test. They give you 3 hours to complete, and you are going to need every bit of that 3 hours per test. There are several ways you can study different.
Excuse me.
Good Lord, these headphones is.
I'm sorry.
Completely
I ate tacos
exaggerated.
before we got here. It was good too. Shout out to the Taco Man.
Taco Man is on point.
Smelling it now.
There's different avenues that you can use to study for the test, but it's kind of like studying for the bar to become a lawyer. It's a very difficult test, and it takes time. You have to dedicate at least 4 to 5 hours a day per test. And at 45 hours a day, I would say about 3 to 6 months per test. If you are new and you coming in and you've never done taxes before, you're not familiar with tax law, you need to study. And you may need to use multiple avenues. So when I was studying for the Part 2 business, I used 2 different softwares, 2 different study softwares to pass, because it was that difficult. Yeah.
That's deep. Cause I like. It don't sound like everybody that do taxes do that.
No,
because that's how.
And that's the reason why you have these TikTok gurus and.
Oh, don't let me start with the TikTok thing.
Oh my God.
That's
the reason why, because they know that in order for them to be able to properly represent somebody, you have to pass this SEE test, all 3 parts, and they don't want to do that.
They just go and get the information.
What they see is the money.
Yeah.
They see that money from January to April, and it's a very lucrative business, but if you in it just to make money, then you doing your clients a disservice.
This just like healthcare. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these nurses and stuff, like, trying to be nurses just to get a check. But it's like, if you go get burnt out because you don't even want to, you get working every day just to make money, it's like, you got to have, like, a love or, like, a passion for this stuff. It's
like, I have a passion to help
you have
people.
a backstory of the reason why you actually started this, and, like, the reason why you actually feel like you need to help other people not get in the predicament that you were in back in that time.
Right.
So I just feel like that's good. It's like you're not just out here just milking it just to get, like, a check.
I love the check.
No, I
love the check.
Yes,
However, I could have been a tax preparer for the rest of my career and retire off of that. I didn't have to become an enrolled agent, but again, I noticed so many people were being, how should I say, milked by some of these representation companies, and they weren't getting results. So you pay a company $5,000 to do an offer for you, and you don't get any results. And so I'm like, that's stupid.
Like, you get results. Like, if you actually do the work, you get the stuff done, get the shit done.
Yeah, because everybody doesn't qualify for offering compromise. Don't let these TikTok gurus.
Okay, what is an offering compromise?
So offering compromise is where you are requesting that the IRS approve you pay less than what you owe. And it's a lot that goes into an offer. And that's the reason why I do what I do, because I have to properly interview you. I vet a client before I say, okay, yeah, you qualify for OIC. Because you might not. We have other things that you may qualify for to help you save money on your tax that works just as good as an OIC. But a lot of people pay these companies because they hear them on the radio and they have these huge marketing budgets, so they can advertise that they can get you half off your tax debt or whatever the marketing strategies are that they use. When in actuality, it's like that resolution meal. Like they just churn and burn type places, and people aren't getting the results that they're supposed to get.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like if I'm paying you, I need my results. Like
I
it's
need
like I feel like if
results.
I'm paying you like, all this money for sure, like you go get. I'm gonna leave here with something. I'm gonna leave here. I'm leaving here with something.
Yeah, and so that's another reason why I got into it, because I
Yeah.
want to help as many people as I can to get their tax debt resolved at a affordable rate, number one, and then
Mhm.
number two, get them the resolution that they deserve.
Okay, so like for your clients, you work with like people that work at McDonald's, you work at people in law offices, you work at people at United Center, you work with whoever.
Anybody.
Okay, cool.
So any taxpayer, individual, no matter how much you make, I work with you, and I also work with businesses as well. So if they
Yeah.
have tax debt that they haven't, say for instance, paid their estimated taxes,
Mhm.
or they haven't paid their payroll taxes like they were supposed to, I can work with you to help get that reduced,
Mhm.
or at least get you on an affordable payment plan, because the IRS may want you to pay $5,000 a month, and you can't afford that.
Yeah.
Because what is their goal? Collect the tax. They want you to full pay. They want the money.
They like
Look, you owe us $5 million. We want our $5 million, but you may not be in a position to be able to pay that. And
Yeah.
so, I'd be able to work with a company or individual to help them get an affordable payment plan if that's what they qualify for.
that's cool.
So do
So-
you train people too?
I can. I've tried.
Try it.
I've tried because this industry is strenuous. You have to have a passion for it. You gotta,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying. You gotta see beyond the January to April check.
Yeah.
I do taxes all year long. It's not just January to April for me.
Yeah.
That's just like the busier.
It's the
Like-
busier time because
Yeah. 'Cause
I do tax preparation work, but the rest of the year I do tax resolution work with tax prep, not the other way
I got
around.
Not the other way around.
Right.
So,
So if you
don't get
have-
it twisted.
And another thing
Nah,
is
I'm
you
just
have to
kidding.
be in compliance. You have to have all of your tax returns prepared
Yeah.
before they'll do an installment agreement or offer compromise. You have to have all of your stuff in compliance. And so there are clients where I have to do 6-7 years of tax returns first before I can move
Go
on to the
next-
resolution phase.
yeah.
Right.
We need a resolution. We had so much confusion. We need a resolution. Okay, so all right, before we finish this situation right here, this conversation, not situation. I don't know why I said that. I got an English degree. Why am I messing up my words?
anything you want to leave off?
No,
tell
well, hey, I want to talk to her. She has a book, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I do.
come on, tell these people about your book.
So my book is titled "I Owe the IRS Now What?" Things the IRS won't tell you about resolving your tax debt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on my page. You can go to my website, www.thebaldwintaxgroup.com, and purchase it there. And or you could call me and let's talk about your tax debt, and I'll send you a copy of the book.
Yeah. So y'all heard that, right? This beautiful black woman in the city of Chicago filing taxes. She's been doing this for years on top of years, since before I was even born. Since before, look, when Rose sat on that bus and didn't want to get up. Nah, I was just kidding. But nah, look,
Yeah, I have been doing it a long time.
it's like she know what she's doing. So look, it's tax season, and like she said, she do it all year round, not just from January to April. So hey, get in there. Her name is Tiesha D. Baldwin, and her business is the Baldwin Tax Group. So yeah, you got something to say for her?
No, thank you for coming in.
Thank y'all for having me.
You
I
taught me
appreciate
a lot
it.
in this little time.
Yeah, I'm for real, cause like I just look, I don't know all
Hope
that
I'm not
like
going
that
to jail.
amendment, like
Yeah. No, nobody on my team is going to jail.
my
Not on
$5 on
watch.
my account, they ain't coming for that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But once again, I want to say thank you for coming on. I know you got a busy day. I know you took time out your day to come talk to us, and I really do appreciate
It was
that.
cool. Thank y'all.
All right, much love.